Two magicians on the Las Vegas Strip are forced to contend with an up-and-coming street performer. This is the incredible Burt Wonderstone.
Welcome to the amazing world of magic.
Wow.
Everyone loves a magician, and they'll love you too.
Do you want to be my partner? More than anything.
I'm Burt Wonderstone.
And I'm Anton Marvelson.
But of course, you already knew that.
Your ticket sales suck.
What?
Steve Gregg, they're calling him the future of magic.
This guy's a magician. He doesn't even have a costume.
Now I feel like I should say that I am a big fan of Steve Carell and Jim Carrey. I think that they are great comedians. I've loved a lot of their movies. I mean, they've been in some bad stuff, but I really think that they're two of the funniest people working today. So the fact that they were both in this movie definitely had me interested. But unfortunately, I didn't think the trailers looked very good. I thought it looked kind of just like an ordinary comedy, and that's kind of how it ends up being. There are definitely a lot of laughs in the movie, but overall it just kind of ends up being really formulaic and by the numbers and pretty predictable. It doesn't do anything new, and while it's certainly an enjoyable hour and a half, it just kind of ends up being an average kind of movie. As far as the plot goes, I actually I thought it was kind of a different kind of story for a comedy film, just in regards that it was about the world of magic, which I thought was actually kind of cool and interesting, but I thought it didn't really capitalize too much on the world of magic. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I feel like it wasn't made by people who really knew magic, I guess you could say. I don't know, it just felt like an ordinary comedy about the rise and fall and rise again of some big entertainer, but it was just put in the world of magic. It felt like a story we'd seen like a million times before, but I did appreciate the fact that it was done on a little bit different of a way by putting it in the magic world. You'll be able to guess the end of the movie by the very start. There's kind of a cliched love story. The whole movie is just kind of very cliched, and while that's definitely not a bad thing, it kind of holds the movie back because it just ends up being so average because we've seen this before. And I will admit, it was good-natured. I mean, I won't say it's inspirational, but it's got a good heart to it, and I do appreciate that, and it is funny. I definitely laughed, but unfortunately, I mean, unless it's like truly hilarious, it needs to have something more for it to be a good comedy. As far as the writing goes, I thought that it was okay. I didn't really think it was that special. The only reason that some of the jokes were funny was because of how well delivered they were, and I think Steve Carell and Jim Carrey especially, they did such great jobs with these characters. Steve Carell, I mean, at first he's like kind of a character you don't really like, but he's always funny. He always delivers the jokes, and there's one scene in particular where he's crying, where anybody else, it might not have been funny at all, but Steve Carell is just such a comedic, like, gifted person that he makes the scene really, really funny, and it ends up being one of the funniest parts of the film. As great as Steve Carell was, though, he was definitely overshadowed by Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, he steals pretty much every scene he's in. When he's not in the movie, I was hoping that he would show up again soon, and he is definitely just hilarious. Jim Carrey is one of the greatest comedians living today, I think, as far as comedic actors go. And in this movie, he plays the street performer, and he's clearly a parody of Criss Angel, and I thought that was very funny. And if you didn't know about Criss Angel, you might not get some of the jokes that they throw in that kind of make fun of Criss Angel, but I think they did a really good job, and some of the stunts that this guy does, while they're really wacky and goofy in the movie, some of them I can totally see Criss Angel doing in real life, which just made it even more funny. The rest of the cast was good as well. I thought Alan Arkin and James Gandolfini were really funny. Steve Buscemi, he was good. He was just kind of there. I didn't think he was particularly hilarious or anything, but he did a good job. And Olivia Wilde, she was just okay. She kind of had just the most cliche character, I thought. So yeah, while I enjoyed it, I did enjoy The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. It's just so average and cliche that I can't give it anything more than a 2 out of 4, which is what I'm going to give it. I would say, if you're looking forward to seeing it and you want to see it, you're a Steve Carell fan, Jim Carrey fan, I would say go see it. You're not going to be upset that you saw it, because it's definitely not terrible. It's really forgettable. It's not memorable. It's just kind of by the numbers, you know? So I think it would be a good rental, personally. But yeah, 2 out of 4, just kind of an average kind of comedy. So let me know what you thought of The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. Did you think it was as funny as I did? Do you think it was more funny, less funny? Did you actually find the plot a little bit more original than I did? And are you big fans of Steve Carell, Jim Carrey? Let me know all that stuff. Also, remember, you can rate, comment, and subscribe. I would really like it if you did that. That would be a big thumbs up for me. And finally, if you want to hear more of what I have to say, then you can follow me on Twitter. The link will be down in the info box down below the video, where the info box is down there. So check that out. And that was The Incredible Burt Wonderstone.